Hi everyone, I'm meteorologist Rusty McCranie, and welcome to Weather Express. It's your weather in 5 minutes. Start the clock. Friends, we're going to begin the video with some areas of flash flooding, but maybe in parts of the country that you wouldn't necessarily expect. That's near the Four Corners and the southern sides of Nevada, including Las Vegas. From southern Colorado back through central sides of New Mexico, flooding rains are ongoing. These are slow-moving thunderstorms producing very heavy rainfall, higher terrain, leading to a lot of runoff and flash flooding. Again, from the Pueblo area back down towards Taos, Santa Fe, especially Albuquerque and areas west today of the Albuquerque area. Secondary area of flash flooding is occurring in Southern California and right over the Las Vegas area. Look, it's the desert. It doesn't take a lot to produce flash flooding, but this trough and that area of low pressure just to the south is producing some nice spin in the atmosphere, slow moving storms there, some gusty winds and, hot temperatures for the most part. But when we look at the advisories that are currently into play, all of the red, that maroon, those are all flash flood warnings. Again, southern Nevada, the southern sides of California, and back through portions of New Mexico, including the Albuquerque area, and then far southern sides of Colorado. You go north of there and you still have some active storms. As a matter of fact, there's some severe thunderstorm warnings currently in effect right now for portions of Idaho, but especially back into Wyoming. Healthy storms over the Jackson area, moving towards Du Bois, on over towards the Casper area. So multiple rounds of storms expected here. And outside of that, it's very hot. Look, temperatures when it's not raining are in the 80s and even the 90s. And it's really gotten hotter back towards the Pacific coastline as well. You get right along the coast. Obviously, it's a different story, but across I-5, we've got some 80s and 90s. Even Seattle today was warmer to begin with, but now they're getting some nice cooling rain moving back into that area. So back out to the big perspective here, when I bring on the fronts again, you're going to see there's a big dividing line. You get south of this boundary, and it's all about the heat and the humidity today for the Tennessee Valley, the Mid-Atlantic states, and the Southeast. These are actual air temperatures, which are, for the Southeast, it's pretty hot when you get to around 95 because of all the humidity in the atmosphere. It's hard to get much hotter than that. And then your feels like temperatures are well into the triple digits today. You're looking at 105, 110, maybe even close to 115 in a couple of spots. That's why all of these orange areas, including Florida, under heat advisories. So portions of the Mid-South, including Arkansas, the Tennessee Valley, then back into the Carolinas. North of that, again, you get closer to where that actual boundary is. When I bring back on the composite radar, now you get a lot more stormy conditions for Kentucky, southern sides of the Ohio Valley, and portions of the Mid-Atlantic states. Places like Washington, Philly, Baltimore, they're going to get some showers and storms. Some of those could be on the stronger side a little bit later in the day. I put the warnings back on. The most active weather right now is over the Carolinas, okay? But some of the storms will build up to the north. It's been a beautiful day in the Northeast in general, kind of north of that activity, with temperatures for places like Boston and New York City reaching the lower 80s. Fairly quiet right now for the upper Midwest, a few scattered showers moving into portions of the western Great Lakes. When I show you guys the big perspective here, we look at the risk for severe storms for today. Again, some of the storms in Virginia, North Carolina could be strong and severe. It's a slight risk. Winds will be the main threat. We could have another area of some strong storms, severe storms, Nebraska, South Dakota, Minnesota, and portions of Iowa. At this point in time, there's no watches currently into play. So let me bring up our models. We'll start off with our HER model, the high resolution rapid refresh over the next 48 hours. You can see those storms here and then sliding back into the Ohio Valley. There's your storms over Virginia and North Carolina that could be strong to severe. Overall, broad spin in the Intermountain West will kick out waves of energy, and it's really those spots that I just talked about for severe weather today, late on this Friday, that will have the best chance for severe storms over the weekend as well. Just kind of the impulses will be riding across the same area. So the central, the northern sides of the plains into the southern Great Lakes and the upper Midwest, places like Chicago and Milwaukee and St. Louis and Cedar Rapids could see storms. Some of that wind activity could swing over to portions of Indianapolis towards Columbus. And again, right along the East Coast, multiple rounds of storms there. Expecting the more garden variety thunderstorms in the southeast with the heat. We should finally start to alleviate some of the flooding concerns in portions of Nevada and the Four Corners in the coming days as well. Risk for severe storms for tomorrow, right? Looks fairly similar, right? Well, let me bring this up here. For tomorrow, looks fairly similar, especially back into the plains. Again, upper Midwest, southern Great Lakes, portions of the Ohio Valley late on Saturday. To Sunday we go, and this extends back into the East Coast. So now you get, places like Baltimore and DC and Philly, even up towards New York City and Boston, with a marginal risk for severe storms that swings back into the plain states as well. Another very interesting thing I'll be monitoring is this is the moisture left over from Invest 93L. It could do a big old loop-de-loop and spin its way back across the eastern portion of the United States, emerge back into the Atlantic, and potentially could be the next thing to keep an eye out for potential tropical development down the road. Believe it or not, what's left over of 93L down here in East Texas could still play a factor in the week to come. Friends, I'm out of time. Appreciate you making Weather Express a part of your daily routine. Thanks for taking a quick second and liking and subscribing. Let me know in the comment section below where you're viewing from. You guys have a great rest of your day. I'm back tomorrow with your latest 5-minute forecast.